just to prove. I won't even look at it. First one, love. Second, gratitude. Third, curiosity. Fourth, excitement. Fifth, determination. Sixth, flexibility. Seventh, confidence. Eighth, joy. Ninth, vitality. 10th, contribution. Boom. Boom. It's so powerful, guys. This is a cheat code. Yo, you guys, don't you hate it when you forget stuff that you know? Like, you did take the time to study and learn, but when the time comes to implement it, you just can't go deep inside your brain and bring it out. Well, I hate that. Every book behind me, every book I read, I probably only retained, let's say, 20% of the information. And we don't obtain every single thing we hear and learn. Like, say you learn something from my videos, you probably only retain like 20%. But I'm gonna give you guys a cheat code. I really mean, this is so fucking valuable. This is an acceleration to the learning curve. If you can learn something much faster, implement this. And I swear, this thing is so powerful. The guy that taught this, the person I learned it from, guess what? He broke the mental world record for memorizing the most numbers for pi. He memorized up to 10,000 digits of pi. And he said that he memorized it so good that how they broke down the pi numbers, the digits, they would be in groups of 5s. And let's say section 420, they would ask, hey, what are the 5 digits in section 420? And he would have to say the 5 digits. And then they would be like, okay, what's the digits in 419? And so on. Like, he knew the information. It was deep inside his brain, and he could just pick it out like that. And what this is called, it's called holistic learning, okay? So the lesson is called unlimited memory because, well, just think about your memory in this manner, okay? Just imagine, I just sucked out all your memory, every thought, everything that happened to you, that's in your memory. Who would you be? You would be a different person than who you are today, right? Without your memory, you're nothing, okay? So, I'm saying, the quality of your memory is the quality of your life. So if you can sharpen your craft on your memory aspect, you will have a better aspect of life. This is A plus B equals C. These just correlate. Understanding and learning, they go together. So I'm going to be trying to give my best explanation of what I just, learned. I'm going to recite it. And hopefully you guys learn something and start implementing this. Because I actually knew about this strategy in high school. Like, I didn't know that I was doing holistic learning. But, in class, I would pay attention. And when the teacher would say something, I would come up with like a mental thought process. And I never ever studied. Till this day, I don't study for a test. Like, I'm just not that type of person. But I managed to get good grades. On the other hand, I did have plugs for the homework. And that's the wrong thing about the education system. They make you, it's cognitive bias called wrong reasoning bias, and it's just like people would rather get the answers than understand the process of learning. But anyways, you're listening right now, you want to learn. So what holistic learning is, basically, as simply as I can put it, is creating a mental vivid journey process from what you learned and associating it, okay? So let's give the example of my room, okay? So let's say I'm planning on writing an ebook eventually. I don't know when, but maybe in a year or maybe 2 years, who knows? But I have thought about putting some time into it. And let's give the example of my chapters. Okay, the first chapter, I'm gonna call it Open the Floodgates. So this is the mental journey. This is the holistic learning for my room. I call it the Open the Floodgates. You know what makes me think of that? Within my own room, you gotta use your environment, what's around you. My door. Why? Because when I think of open the floodgates, the door opens, and what that just stands for is a synonym for like awareness, But I'm not gonna get too depth in that. I'm just saying that use what's around you. You know, use a clock to understand that you are here today. You are in the presence. You are living in the now. Now, I understand that this is practically super advanced, but this involves a lot of creativity, but this is really listen, see in this manner, it's a cheat code. And just saying, like, think of it in that manner. That's holistic learning. So like, this is a cheat code to learn. That in itself is holistic learning. Like, you think about cheat code and learning, it's gonna trigger the thought of holistic learning. Do you see where I'm going? It's just making mental connections with association, because everything you learn is based off something that you already know. Okay, like, let's say, you know, well, let's give an example of books. Books, they're made out of words made out of letters are just made out of shapes, and then, you know, we're taught to pronounce these type of shapes in this manner. And, you know, so books are made out of shapes, but those shapes can provoke such strong emotion on your brain that, you know, some books make people cry, some books bring out a lot of emotion on people, right? But the book its power is based off what we already know. I hope I'm not sounding too much like, what the fuck is he talking about? I'm just trying to, like, you know, this is a little bit advanced. This is the first time I'm taking the time to make this is called accelerated knowledge. That, you know, I've spoken about how I invest thousands of dollars on advanced programs. This is the shit I'm learning. Okay, real quick before I go, if you follow me on Snapchat, you might have seen, or my Instagram, you might have seen that I drew this piece of art, and I am the new Picasso. Okay? No, I'm just playing. My artistic skills have been horrible since I was a kid. So, you know, I became self-aware. I'm like, I'm not gonna go into art because I suck. I mean, I am creative, but my artistic skills, you know, to detail in that. But the reason I wrote this, the reason I drew this, is to illustrate holistic learning. So let's get into this. Okay, this little drawing right here represents one of the most powerful stories of a book ever created. It's by Tony Robinson. He's like the GOAT of self-development, and he has this book called Awaken the Giant. And he writes 10 emotions for power. So the first emotion is love, second emotion is gratitude, third emotion is curiosity, fourth emotion is excitement, fifth determination, sixth flexibility, seventh confidence, eighth joy, ninth vitality, 10th contribution. Now I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna show you how I was taught to memorize this and how holistic learning applies, so you can learn stuff like that. Memorize those 10 emotions. Memorize stuff like that. So easy, okay? So this is, you know how I told make a story? Well, this is called the body story. So the first emotion is love. So he said draw the shoe, the base, the first emotion, love. So there's a heart at the bottom of his foot. Second emotion is gratitude. He's like, just put a grater by his knee. That's a grater, by the way. Third emotion is curiosity. So I drew a cat, or he's like, draw a cat by his thigh area. Fourth emotion is excitement. He's like, draw a belt, because, you know, when you're excited, like, you breathe up and down, and then, like, that moves the belt. Fifth emotion is determination. He's like, put a termite, determined to get inside your stomach. Sixth emotion is flexibility. He's like, on your hand, on your right palm, draw someone doing the splits. On the seventh emotion, on your other hand, draw someone that's super confident. The eighth emotion is joy, so draw like a smile. Ninth emotion is vitality, and through your eyes, you know, you receive like vitamins for yourself, so that's where you receive your vitamins. And 10th emotion is contribution, because with your knowledge, like Warren Buffett said, the more you learn, the more you earn. So with your knowledge, you're gonna get money so you can contribute into a philanthropist manner. So do you see that? Watch, I learned this like 30 minutes ago, and I know the 10 emotions for power by Tony Robinson, and I didn't even read the book. So the first one, just to prove, I won't even look at it. First one, love. Second, gratitude. Third, curiosity. Fourth, excitement. Fifth, determination. Sixth, flexibility. Seventh, confidence. Eighth, joy. Ninth, vitality. 10th, contribution. Boom. Boom. It's so powerful, guys. This is a cheat code. Alright, guys. So with that being said, I hope you guys learned something. Apply this to your life, because knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Hope you found something valuable, and see you soon. By the way, listen to the podcast. Listen to the podcast though.